Hello. Today there's a very odd Twitter message which is going around and was put up by the Labour MP Diane Abbott. Now, maybe when Matt Hancock resigned, Diane Abbott was expecting Michael Gove rather than Sajid Javid to replace Hancock. But the disturbing suggestion is in this Twitter that we should probe into Mr. Gove's private life, and that and there's that sort of hint that he may not be quite as squeaky clean as he appears to be. This is predatory. I think it's inappropriate. It's fairly obnoxious. And anyway, we know that Mr. Gove is not really that squeaky clean. After all, he confessed to taking serious drugs when he made a bid to become our Prime Minister a few years ago. Actually, this is what, let me see if I can find it. This is what Diane Abbott actually writes. Some people on Twitter seem to think that Michael Gove is poised to take over from Matt Hancock. But are they confident that Gove's private life is beyond reproach? Maybe Sarah Vine can shed some light on this. And then she's got a hashtag, back to basics. Well, Sarah Vine, his wife, should know. For her, it's very simple. And she wrote an article on Sunday where she says, top politicians cheat because no one ever says no to them. I think that sounds very sound. That really puts Diane Abbott's piece into proper perspective. I don't think there's really anything more worrying about it than that. However, we are told by people like Medwina Curry, the lady who famously bragged of bedding John Major, that all this cheating is a distraction. Well, yes, she's right in a way. It is a distraction, but it points to a more serious issue. If a politician cannot be trusted in the trouser department, then how can we trust him or her with our health, our money, our jobs, running the country? And if we condone naughtiness in one minister, then that's a red flag that has to be taken down across the board, that we can never waive in any way. This is the problem that comes of having ministers who flaunt their own damaged personal profiles. When it comes to the crunch, they cannot wield power effectively because they've lost the moral high ground, because they lack the perception of integrity. Hancock should have been sacked many times, I think, and Boris knew it because Hancock was useless. Boris had said that. He'd actually decorated that phrase with his own well-chosen expletive. But of course, Boris could not do anything because of his own well-documented philandering background, even when faced with the photographic proof that I think must have been circulating in the corridors of power for days before it made it to the front pages of the Sun newspaper. I don't think it's the peccadillos in office or the wandering hands on camera that are the problem, but the way that these indiscretions flag up that lack of integrity, and these indiscretions move centre stage so that the cronyism, the nepotism, all these things actually that we know have been dogging the Department of Health are then exposed one after the other. All those thousands, millions of pounds invested with friends of friends, jobs for the boys, and to make matters worse, jobs which were then done badly. Now, I understand what's extraordinary today, as the dust settles, is just how sort of completely irrelevant things are being raised, and we're not going to be allowed to get on with the job. The Matt Hancock scandal is going to linger because of the way it was handled, both by the Prime Minister and by Matt Hancock himself. I understand that Fleur Anderson, I think, the shadow cabinet minister has made a formal report to the police about Matt Hancock's breach of COVID rules under the Health Protection Regulations 2020. Well, that's one thing. At the same time, MI5 is being carried off to investigate the way the photographs were leaked. I mean, this is nonsensical. This is the line that Jeremy Hunt took on the Andrew Marr show yesterday. It is just puerile, actually. As for the police, they would say that they only investigate ongoing and active breaches of the COVID rules. Well, you know, it's very rare that you find something which is ongoing and active. Generally, you find that a crime has been committed or a misdemeanor has been committed after the event. You don't find a crime actually ongoing as a rule. And we can look back at the politicians and those linked to political office who have been breaking these rules. You know, you can think of Margaret Ferrier, for example, who lost the SNP whip, and she seems to be the only person who's actually been charged that I can think of. She was charged with culpable and reckless conduct. And then there's Neil Ferguson, who was a person who helped to set up the COVID rules. He had to resign from SAGE, and Dr. Catherine Calderwood, Scotland's chief medical officer, sort of a parallel post really. She had to resign, and then in contrast, Nicola Sturgeon, who was found in a pub talking to three people without a mask. She hasn't resigned. And Dara Callery, Stanley Johnson is another one, caught in a shop without a mask. Robert Jenrick, and Stephen Kinnock, both of those were caught trying to help their parents. Things that we were told by Matt Hancock we were not allowed to do. This is the point. And then Dominic Cummings, of course, in the Rose Garden, who needed to travel so far to get his eyes tested. The issue is, if the law cannot be enforced effectively, then we have to assume it's not a very effective law. And I worry about this because it looks as if the COVID menace is not going to go away that quickly, even if we embrace the vaccine, even if we continue to social distance. These issues will still be present nationally and internationally, and we have to have a robust system that is going to deal with them. We shouldn't be led by ministers who think that that one law applies to us and another law, a quite different law, applies to them. This is the point of justice, that it is blind to power, and this is the point of constructing a good law, that it is efficacious. Rather like Lily of the Pink's medicine, efficacious in every way, and at the moment the laws related, or the guidelines related to COVID, are simply not effective, and that is exposed very much by Matt Hancock's behaviour and by his tenure. I think when we look back on Matt Hancock as a Secretary of State, we will see serious flaws. If they aren't there, I think we might place them there. He will not go down as one of the greater ministers of state. Maybe I should rephrase that in the light of the way he was caught out. But anyway, look, do subscribe to my channel. There are many things going up on the channel at the moment. and I hope some of the things are of interest. I should be doing some film reviews as well, so I will put those up, and there's also some more academic stuff coming up. So please subscribe, ring the bell. I think it's down on that side over there, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Bye bye.